Before we dive into the full story, comment where you're watching from and don't forget to like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Now, while Donald Trump was struggling to attract major star power, Barack Obama was preparing for a presidential center opening packed with celebrities, former presidents, and national attention, and the contrast between the two events quickly became a story all on its own. Let's get into it.
Ending a war, ordering the bin Laden raid, saving an auto industry, winning a peace prize. Keeping us safe from Ebola, regulating the banks, standing up for marriage.
So Michelle Obama just pulled off something that is absolutely insane and something that politicians rarely manage to do. She gave a speech that everyone knew was about Donald Trump without ever mentioning Donald Trump. At the opening of Obama Presidential Center in Chicago, she talked about democracy, public service, civic responsibility, community, leadership, and the idea that America belongs to all of us, not just one person. Shocking, right? And that is where it all got funny, because she didn't spend the speech attacking Donald Trump like he would, right? She simply described what leadership is supposed to look like. You know, serving the public instead of yourself, building institutions instead of attacking them, bringing people together instead of trying to divide them, focusing on citizens instead of creating a personality cult. The irony is that nobody had to connect the dots for her. The audience just did it automatically. Imagine being roasted so thoroughly that your name never even comes up, but everyone knows it's about you. That's political psychology 101. The most effective criticism isn't always telling people who the villain is. It's reminding the people what normal looks like and letting their brains do the rest. And let's be honest, the contrast was just hard to miss. Because on one side, a presidential center dedicated to civic engagement, volunteerism, education, and the idea that democracy belongs to everyone. And on the other, a political movement built around one man, whose supporters literally wear his name on hats, shirts, flags, I don't know, coffee mugs, and every surface possible. And buy Trump watches, Trump sneakers, Trump, 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 Trump. At that point, Michelle Obama, she didn't even need to make an argument. The reality itself did it for her. And the truly devastating part, in my opinion, she never said Donald Trump. She never had to. Yet somehow everyone knew that's exactly who she's talking about. That's when you know your speech landed hard. Or when she mentioned the Nobel Peace Prize. That's just a nail in that coffin. Mic drop.
Barack Obama calls Donald Trump out without saying his name in some of the most clever ways possible. I know that Trump watched this and literally pooped his pants, soiled his diaper.
I am not immune to anger or doubt.
Reach.
But I do know this.
What's that?
When we lose faith in each other, when we stop believing that voting matters, that citizenship matters,
Facts.
that our collective voices matter, that how we treat each other no longer matters, then we give away our power to decide our own futures.
Woo!
We open the door to the most ruthless or the most careless or the most fearful among us.
Keep that door closed.
Who see some groups and some people as more equal than others, and see government as nothing more than a way to divvy up the spoils and punish enemies and keep those who are different in their place.
Ooh.
I do not believe that is the story of America that prevails in the end. I don't believe it, because for us to give up, for us to give in now, after all this country's been through, to cynicism and division would be a betrayal of our founding ideals.
Facts.
A betrayal of our faith.
Facts. Hallelujah. I miss having a president that could speak in coherent sentences and had a good heart. Don't you? The way Obama inspires Americans all over the country. I mean, just wow. We need more of it, right? We really do. But in the meantime, and in between time, what's going on right here in the United States of America with you Trump supporters and your dear leader? Unimaginable. But listening to what Obama said, honestly, it gives me hope that once Donald Trump is out of the picture, maybe he's impeached, convicted, and removed from office, it does give me hope that just maybe we can truly be a great country.
Patriotism, the outrage when you stated the biological fact that if you'd had a son, that he too would be black. Yet, you were unflappable at every turn.
So a few points here. The first is that, look, I am a white guy in a world where white men have every opportunity, every advantage afforded to them. I'm not going to pretend that I know how difficult it was for Barack Obama to not only achieve the heights he achieved, but to do so knowing that, in effect, his entire race would be represented by the success or failure of this one man. And man, did he succeed. As Michelle Obama says, despite the, quote, lies about your birthright, your faith, your patriotism, the outrage when you stated the biological fact that if you'd had a son that he too would be black, yet you were unflappable at every turn. Again, I presume that it was hard enough to be the first black man to be president. I presume the pressure to do so perfectly was a heavy burden to carry, but I know for a fact that the onslaught that he contended with on a daily basis from Fox, from right-wing media, and from Trump himself was relentless. Unflappable is the perfect word to describe his response to it. Just a quick note here to say that if you appreciate my work, which is and always will be 100% free, a small ask is if you could please pre-order my new book, The Day After, which explores how Democrats must finally wield power if they're fortunate enough to get it back. I'll also be on tour in DC, New York, and LA mid-July. You can grab tickets to the tour and you can pre-order the book at the same link, which I'll put on the screen and in the post description of this video. You can also find them at briantylercohen.com/book. Again, I'll never paywall a single piece of content, but this is the one time that I'll ask for some support for a book that I really think meets this moment. Thanks so much. And yet, this is what the right does. The same way they tried to other Barack Obama, he's not even American, where's his birth certificate, they do it to trans people now. A few years ago, it was gay people. Before that was migrant caravans and brown people. The boogeyman will always change, but the through line is clear. Republicans rely on inciting culture wars and pitting people against each other because if we weren't fighting each other based on petty, shallow differences, we would realize that the real enemy here is a class of people in this country who lie, cheat, and steal. Sound like anybody you know? The real enemy are the people who engage in open corruption because they view themselves as being above the law. Sound like anyone you know? The real enemy are the people who commit heinous crimes against children and then cover up their participation. Sound like anyone you know? The real enemy are those who climb the ranks of power and wealth before pulling up the ladder behind them. Sound like anyone you know? That's who our focus should be on, because those people represent a tiny, minuscule fraction of this country, but they represent the vast majority of influence and money and power. So they can purchase the media, the airwaves, the social media platforms. They can control what we see and read and hear. And most importantly, they can dictate who we hate.
One thing I really struggle with politically is reconciling my feelings about Barack Obama. Because on the one hand, I'm like, he was the American president. All American presidents are genocidal maniacs. He set the stage for Donald Trump. Like, that's on one hand. And then on the other hand, I'm like, Barack, Michelle. Like, when I saw Sasha and Malia yesterday, I was like, oh my God, the girls are so grown up. And I struggle so much with it because I am a Black American millennial person. Like, Barack Obama was the first president I ever voted for. Like, who he is just like, and what he represents for Black Americans and Black American progress. Like, it is so hard to even verbalize. And I think so much about, I was in Brazil in like 2015. And I was staying with an Afro-Brazilian family and visiting like favelas where black Brazilians were living, and there were pictures of Barack Obama everywhere. Like, and it was like, because, and it's like, even like in another country where like, it's like, because who he is and what he represents like for Black people, not just in America, but like globally in a lot of ways, like it is hard to truly like communicate that, what that means. And as we're seeing all these images about the Obama Presidential Center open up, I can tell how like all these cultural feelings I have of like the reverence I have for Barack Obama are coming up, and how that's existing simultaneous with like reading from Chicagoans, from Black folks on the south side of Chicago, and they're talking about the displacement that they are either experiencing or expect to experience as a result of this center opening. And like how we wrestle with both of those things, I think, is really important. And so I think for me, what I'm always trying to do is like both like hold space for like the reverence that I feel for Barack Obama culturally, and like what I understand him to mean as a symbol of like Blackness both in America and globally, and also be able to like hold to account like how his failures as president have set the stage for where we are today. And I think we have to reckon with both of those things, or at least I do, simultaneously.
President Obama and Hillary Clinton had some huge laughs at the expense of Donald Trump today, and it was truly satisfying.
From Ebola, regulating the banks.
Thousands of people gathered in Jackson Park on the south side of Chicago to celebrate the grand opening of the Obama Presidential Center. Every living president was in attendance, except for the hugely unpopular and uninvited Tangerine Tyrant. During a powerful speech by Michelle Obama, she listed her husband's many achievements, including receiving the Nobel Peace Prize. That's when Obama and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton could not hold back. Watch this.
Expanding healthcare, ending a war, ordering the bin Laden raid, saving an auto industry, winning a Peace Prize. Keeping us safe from Ebola.
Did you hear Hillary's unmistakable laugh? I did. It's a running joke that Trump covets the Peace Prize so much because Obama has one. And he just can't understand why deploying the military against his own cities and bombing Venezuela and Iran doesn't qualify him for one. If you were glad to see President Obama and Secretary Clinton share a hilarious moment at Trump's expense today, give me a follow, because we are definitely on the same page.
Okay, just watch this. Former President Obama delivered one of the most incredible speeches at the stakeholder reception for the opening of the Barack Obama Presidential Center, radiating pure grace and dignity while Donald Trump was having a complete psychotic meltdown in France. With calm power, Obama spoke straight from the heart about the salts of the earth bedrock people across the south side of Chicago and all across this great country of ours. These everyday folks just do the right thing, raising their families, taking care of people, and treating everyone high and low with respect and kindness without cutting corners on values. He slammed institutions obsessed with money, attention, fame, and getting over, contrasting them sharply with real American spirit. Obama made it clear the Presidential Center exists to honor those voices and keep the country true to their spirit for our kids, our grandkids, and even 50 years from now. Nothing Donald Trump can do, And nothing those weird Trump UFC fighters attacking Michelle Obama can achieve will ever break the unbreakable spirit of the Obamas. This speech hit hard, reminding everyone exactly how awful Trump is and showing what real decency, grace, and compassion look like.
I think the goal is really to be the kind of man where your wife can speak about you in the same way that Michelle just spoke about Barack. Not saying, oh, try and be like Barack Obama and this and that, blah, blah. No, but become, you might not be it now, and that's fine. Become the kind of man where your wife can say proudly and honestly and speak about you in a way that is similar or with such high praise, or where your kids can speak about you with honor and such high praise. Like you're that level, you've not even just that you're rich, but your character is just so incredible. The things that you are trying or have accomplished are so incredible. The person that you are is just so incredible that your wife can look at you and look to a million people and say, this is the kind of person he is, and say that unwaveringly. And everybody in the crowd is like, true.
Michelle Obama completely destroyed Donald Trump in a speech earlier at the opening session of the new Obama Library. You guys have to see this. She rarely gives speeches. Her and her husband, they speak up when important, but they don't speak up too often. So it's very rare to see one of the Obamas giving a speech. I want you guys to see this. Credits to Aaron Parnas. I'm going to be pulling this from a video he had posted. Let's take a look at this together.
You're unflappable at every turn. Always focused. Always calm. Always looking at the long view. How absurd it is to even imagine that you might have buckled under the pressure even once.
She's talking about her
Lashed
husband,
out
by the way.
in frustration. Lost your temper. How absurd it is to imagine that you might have done anything but make our family and this entire country proud. No, you were too busy. I'm not done, y'all. Not done. So much to say. You were doing the people's work, rescuing our economy, expanding health care, ending a war, ordering the bin Laden raid, saving an auto industry, winning a peace prize. Keeping us safe from Ebola, regulating the banks, standing up for marriage equality, listening to science, and comforting an entire nation in the face of unspeakable tragedies. And you did it all with such grace and class and cool that you made the hardest job in the world look like a walk in this beautiful park.
That was what I would argue would be a direct attack on Donald Trump, starting off by saying Obama was not everything that Trump is, losing his temper, and he actually won a peace prize. Unlike Trump never won a peace prize and is enraged by that fact and makes sure to let us know every day by accusing Obama of something new. So that's great. We love it.
At the end of the day, this wasn't just about a building opening in Chicago. It became a story about legacy, influence, and the difference between earning public admiration and demanding public attention. While public figures come and go, some leave behind institutions, ideas, and communities that continue to attract people long after they are out of office. Whether you agree with Obama or not, the turnout and attention surrounding this event spoke for itself. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more stories from Black Voice Daily.